It's time for crap to hit the fan. If you're constantly thinking, I should, I need to, I have to, then you need to stick around and watch this video because you're shoulding all over yourself. Surgery is just one tool. It's time to put the other tools in the toolbox because it's your body, your health, your life. And if you continue to should all over yourself, then you're never going to have long-term weight loss success. I want you to have long-term weight loss success. In today's video, we're talking about how our inner self-talk is so important to our weight loss surgery success. And even more importantly, reaching all our weight loss and health goals. It is our job to become our best cheerleaders for all the wins, including the small wins. Small wins add up to great, huge accomplishments and successes. At my bariatric surgeon's office, there was typically a physician assistant, a PA, that worked with us for the follow-up check-in visits after having surgery. But I don't think he realized that he was shoulding all over me, which made me should all over myself. I was doing all the things that was asked of me. I was coming in for my follow-up visit, but I was a slow loser. I lost majority of my 140 pounds after the 6-month mark. So when I'm coming in for those follow-up visits before that time, I was hearing comments from them like, you should be doing this. You should be at this weight already. Are you needing to? Are you doing the things right? You should be doing this. Are you doing that? You should be at this stage. Should. But he never asked about my other wins, my other progress indicators. Those were showing significant progress and success. Our non-scale victories, the NSVs, will always be more accurate in showing progress and success than any number on the scale or a category on the BMI chart, or any I should we tell ourselves. For some reason, even some of our bariatric surgeons hold up the scale or the BMI chart as the ultimate truth for progress and success in losing weight. But the thing is, we have the least amount of control over that. And it's variable at best. Things like time of day, what did we eat before, how is our body reacting to a certain food, what stress level are we under, did we have enough sleep, is our vitamins up to par? There is a multitude of factors that determine if we're going to have weight loss, if that number on the scale is going to go down. Overlooked is all the other victories, all the other progress and success indicators that we achieve off the scale. They provide a much needed boost when things aren't going as fast as we think they should be. They will help us determine if we are achieving our bigger why, those bigger goals that we have set for ourselves. And if you haven't developed your bigger why or your bigger goals beyond the number on the scale, stop this video right now and do it. They also help us remind what we are working towards, what we want. Maybe it's something in the past that we're able to relive, or something that we're working towards in the future. They give us hope, and they give us justification to reclaim our lives. Let's be clear here, right now, before I go on. There's nothing here I'm going to tell you that is super magical and all of a sudden going to change years and years of your crap thinking. But you can take it in, you can listen, you can write things down, you can pause this video. You have options to start thinking about doing things a little bit differently. In all honesty, to lose weight long term, you really need to look at the way you think and the way you talk to yourself. You have to be willing to be self-reflective, pay attention to why you're eating, what you're eating, when you're eating. Are you actually hungry, or is it maybe head hunger? Is your body telling you you're actually full? Are you pushing it to being full? Is it maybe okay not to be so full. Maybe it's okay to be a little hungry. The more you pay attention to yourself, the more changes you can make that will benefit you. When we're not really paying attention to our bodies, to what we're thinking, to what we're feeling, to our mindset, then you're just eating on autopilot. Then you're just living life on autopilot. When you're doing it like you always done before, even pre-surgery, if you're attacking your bariatric surgery journey like you did before, you'll have no reason to stop or feel full or understand how your body is working. Or if you're making progress, what's getting in your way is that you're not paying full attention to what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your soul needs, and how you need it. First, ask yourself with no shame, no guilt, how is my bariatric journey really going? Then be honest with yourself with that answer. If the only thing that comes into your mind is the number on the scale, is some kind of negative comment you're telling yourself that maybe I should be doing this, I need to do this, I have to do this, or you're super focused on a stall or a plateau, which by the way is normal, or you're thinking I should be eating this, I should be losing more weight, I should be losing it faster, blah, blah, blah. If you're thinking about all that, if that's the first thing that comes into your mind when you think about your journey, then you need to dig deeper. Ask yourself, are you staying on plan? Do you like the journey? Are you learning something new about yourself? How is this making me feel? Are I meeting any of my goals? Did I set goals? Let's think back to who we were before surgery, before we had bariatric surgery. Let's think about a diet we were on before. Now, was this you? You'd get a few weeks in, things are happening, you're seeing some success, you're white knuckling it through, and then all of a sudden some problems show up. Some old habits start knocking on the door. Some old behaviors start to kick in. And then you start not being really honest with yourself. And you let crap enter your mind and you start thinking the following. You go immediately from thinking, I was doing really good, to I'm a complete failure. Now, are you doing this post-surgery as well? When you're not losing fast enough? When you're stalled or maybe even gained a little bit? When you're looking at all those pictures, all those success stories on the internet, and you're thinking, well, that's not me. What am I doing wrong? You start catastrophizing, awfulizing. You start shaming, feeling guilty. Your crazy brain starts to rear its head. And you forget about all those little wins, all those successes, all the progress. Instead of being rational, calming your brain down, and just realizing and knowing that if you're not losing weight fast and furious, doesn't mean you're a failure. Doesn't mean you should be doing something. It means that's just how your body is. You're a body that's losing weight a little bit slower, but you're still making progress. You're still making success. You're still winning, and you're still learning. The best questions to ask yourself right now and every day moving forward is, how am I going to make weight loss easy for me today? How am I going to make weight loss easier for me tomorrow? What signs, victories, lessons learned, what small wins have I gained today? What progress indicators are showing me my success, knowing that I'm getting healthier emotionally, mentally, and physically? As you really recognize and build and feel those small wins, you start to kind of build a momentum. And you'll be willing to look for more progress, more indicators, more wins, which will make this journey, which can be a little rough and tough at times, it'll make it worth it. And after a while, you'll start to recognize those things that were super obstacles to you, huge challenges, become things that you've overcome, that you've dealt with, that you have succeeded and made progress on. It'll get easier. I had to ask myself post-surgery, is what I'm doing sustainable? Because before surgery, I was so miserable. I was eating my life away. I was crying all the time. I was getting highly irritated. What I thought was, my medical issues were getting more and more evident. I would take 2 steps forward and 5 back. I was just surviving. I was definitely not thriving. It was bad, and I just was not living life at all. For me, when I finally decided to have bariatric surgery, I told myself, I promised myself I was going to do whatever it took to figure my shit out. Because reflecting on those past diets, those magic fixes, those diet pills, those restrictive eating, those plans, whatever that was, all those diets before having my surgery, I knew deep down they were a bad diet because they were never going to work. Because I always said to myself in those moments, in those diets, in those whatever situations I was putting myself in, I was always telling myself the following: I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to get this weight off and everything will be fixed. Or once I lose those 50 pounds, all things will be better. I'm going to do this no matter what. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to white knuckle myself through. I'm going to do it, no questions asked. I had to figure my shit out from the very beginning. I knew I had to prepare, I had to plan, I had to learn, I had to forgive myself, I had to understand that mistakes happen, and I needed to do it in a way that was for the rest of my life. I knew in my life I wanted to fit in that airplane seat because for years I flew and traveled because I loved to do that, but I took risks. There was trips I never used a seatbelt. I wanted to feel good in my own skin. I wanted my mind to match my body. I wanted to feel confident and be able to take risks because whatever I wanted to do, I wanted to be able to do it for the rest of my life. And I didn't want to be a victim any longer to my emotions and my mental weight, to my past and to food. So to check in, to be sustainable long-term, I needed to look to all those other things that showed me my progress. Even in choosing and believing and wanting to do the right things for majority of the time, that is even a non-scale victory. Because non-scale victories, those small wins, they build resilience and they show you and tell you that you can follow through on yourself. So if you haven't at this moment in your journey even thought about non-scale victories or celebrating them, you need to stop and really think and develop a list of those. Those are your truth tellers, not the number on the scale. So let's talk about anything from avoiding that chaffed inner thigh, you know what I mean, all the way to extending your lifespan. So first I'm going to talk about some bigger kind of non-scale victories, some categories. Look for these, strive for these, measure these. Number 1, having more energy to spare. Are you feeling younger? Is some of that chronic fatigue being removed from your life? Are you kind of seeing an increase in quality of life in your activities with yourself or others? Number 2, having a general positive outlook on life. This will start to spill over in other areas in our life, in our behaviors, in our choices, in the way we interact with others. Number 3, increased vitality, mobility, and health. Are you seeing some reduction or removal of some of those medical issues, complications that you were experiencing before surgery? Are you seeing some of those things? Are they getting better? Because remember, the more we can work on that, the better and more active we will be when we're older. Don't you want that? Number 4, we just take up less space. Smaller clothes, inches lost, sitting comfortably. We're not sensing that we're the center of attention because of our size. We're just taking up less space. Are you trying newer things for longer? Some of us have never really seen what our bodies are able to do. How exciting is that? Number 6, escape the trap of our body. No more accepting the fate of a sedentary lifestyle. It's almost like we're breaking free from prison. Number 7, removing shame and building self-esteem. We're gaining confidence as we shed that anxiety and self-consciousness. Number 8, uncalculated medical benefits. We're having a reduction or removal of certain prescriptions, reduction of future health risks. Number 9, just as simple as it sounds, an easier life. It kind of boils down to freedom of choice. And number 10, just a better relationship with food. Just learning how to not use food, to cope, distract, avoid. It's okay to feel our feelings, to overcome stresses of everyday life. Let's talk about other progress and success indicators. So loss of inches, don't forget to take measurements. You'll be amazed at how many total inches you'll lose over time. Photos, don't forget to take photos. It will show you more than just a difference in your weight and your size and how you look. It's going to show you eventually how your spirit comes forward, how you're smiling more, your eyes are going to look brighter. Look for those things as you move forward on your journey in your photos. Are you receiving compliments? I hate to say it, but are you having better treatment from others? Are you meeting some exercise goals that you set for yourself? Are you seeing changed habits, better behaviors? Your mind is sharper. You're sleeping better. Your skin looks better. Improved mood, maybe decreased depression and anxiety. You're noticing that you're saving money, time, energy. You're seeing better lab work. Everyday tasks are getting easier. You can play with the kids or the grandkids. Your endurance is improving. You're just more resilient. Problems are not that you can just kind of roll with the punches. Lower cravings. Your digestion is more regular. There's so much more. And I can't even tell you what some of those non-scale victories are because a lot of them are tied to your bigger why. So one of the biggest non-scale victories, one of the biggest wins that you should be celebrating is you're moving forward, you're moving closer, you're reaching your bigger why, whatever that is. It has to be more than just losing the weight and the number on the scale. For me, and maybe some of you can relate, I literally started crying when I saw my collarbone for the very first time. And the other one was, I spent decades without anyone allowed to take my picture. I have decades, 10 years for sure, of having no digital footprint. So one of the non-scale victories that even my friends have mentioned and family members have mentioned is that I'm allowing myself to be in a picture. Isn't that crazy? That just sounds crazy to me, that I'm actually allowing myself to be in a picture. And even more importantly than that is I'm allowing myself to be visible. I was invisible for a long, long time. So for many of us, weight loss is the only goal. It's fine to measure on the scale from time to time, but it's not the only way to measure your success. So look around, be very observant. What are your inner and outer wins? Appreciate the effort you are making in making yourself a healthier, long-term weight loss surgery success. Stop shitting all over yourself. And keep going. Ask others. If you don't see success or progress, ask others. Remember, I know sometimes some of us get so bummed out because we aren't hearing the compliments. Our loved ones aren't saying, oh, I see progress. They're not saying anything. Remember, weight loss, either be it gain or loss, weight is a hard thing to mention. It's kind of a mind zone if you think about it. So ask straight out. The people that you trust and love and support you, ask them, what progress do they see? And it's not just the looks. I bet you'll be amazed at what they're going to tell you. Alongside the statement, I should, you also need to remove that one sentence that you keep using, the I can't. You need to watch that video next.